A devastating and deeply concerning sequence of events has left both New Orleans and Las Vegas grappling with tragedies that appear, at first glance, to be isolated but are now under intense investigation for potential links. The question that looms large is whether these violent acts, separated by geography yet marked by unsettling similarities, are part of a larger, coordinated effort. In New Orleans, a deadly terror attack shocked the city. At nearly the same time in Las Vegas, an explosion involving a Tesla Cybertruck rocked the valet area of the Trump International Hotel. 7 individuals sustained minor injuries, and the Cybertruck's driver was killed in the blast. Authorities have confirmed that the Cybertruck, rented via the Turo app in Colorado, was loaded with explosives, including fireworks, gas tanks, and camping fuel, all wired to a detonation device controlled by the driver. Remarkably, the Cybertruck's build directed the explosion upward, sparing nearby buildings, including Trump Tower, from significant damage. Law enforcement sources reveal that the deceased Cybertruck driver had a military background. While his identity is being withheld until next-of-kin notifications are completed, investigators are carefully piecing together his motives and connections. The truck's route from Colorado to Las Vegas and the short time it spent in the city before the explosion are key areas of focus. What adds to the complexity is the New Orleans attack. Reports suggest the suspect there, also with military ties, had rented his vehicle via the Turo app, mirroring the method used in Las Vegas. Moreover, disturbing details have emerged, including the New Orleans suspect's self-proclaimed allegiance to ISIS, threatening videos, and an ISIS flag in his possession. However, his plans to detonate explosives were thwarted when police intervened. These factors raise pressing questions. Were these events connected by a shared ideology, direct communication, or merely coincidence? Experts are diving deep into these cases, analyzing military connections, shared rental platforms, and the similar use of explosives. Former intelligence officials highlight that while certain parallels, such as the use of electric vehicles or similar means of attack, could stem from random factors, the proximity in timing and methodology necessitates a thorough probe. Any verified link would point to a significant conspiracy, but law enforcement remains cautious about drawing conclusions without concrete evidence. A search warrant for a Houston home tied to the New Orleans suspect is expected to yield critical clues. Investigators are racing against time to gather social media activity, writings, and insights into potential collaborators or acquaintances. Every piece of evidence could reshape the narrative, determining whether these acts are the product of coordinated terror efforts or isolated individuals inspired by extremist ideologies. Ultimately, the distinction between ISIS-directed attacks and ISIS-inspired actions will be critical. The former would signal a broader, calculated resurgence of organized terror, while the latter may indicate lone actors channeling personal grievances through extremist rhetoric. For the affected cities and the nation, this distinction deeply influences public perception of safety and the nature of the ongoing threat. As these investigations unfold, the resilience of New Orleans and Las Vegas stands as a beacon of hope. Both cities, even in the face of fear and uncertainty, are determined to move forward, united in their resolve to find answers and heal from these harrowing events. The journey to uncover the truth will not only provide clarity, but will reaffirm the commitment to ensuring safety for all. Law enforcement is now delving into every possible lead to connect the dots between these incidents. Teams are working tirelessly, analyzing evidence, reviewing hours of surveillance footage, and interviewing anyone who may have had contact with the suspects. The use of social media has become a critical element in the investigation, as authorities comb through posts, messages, and interactions that may reveal the motives or networks behind these attacks. In the case of the New Orleans suspect, investigators are exploring his radicalization process. Was it sudden, triggered by recent events or grievances? Or was it a slow build, cultivated through years of exposure to extremist ideologies? These questions are crucial in determining whether external groups like ISIS actively influenced these acts or merely served as a vessel for personal rage. If the former, the implications could be significant for counterterrorism strategies, not only in the U.S. but globally. Meanwhile, the Las Vegas explosion presents a different set of questions. The setting, a vehicle detonating outside the Trump International Hotel, raises suspicions about political motivations. The Cybertruck, an emblem of Elon Musk's innovation, and the Trump Hotel, a symbol of political polarization, may not have been randomly chosen. Was this an act of symbolic violence targeting prominent figures and what they represent? Or was the choice of location incidental, an act of desperation by an individual with no greater plan? The timing of both incidents adds another layer of complexity. The attacks occurred within hours of each other, in cities over 1,000 miles apart, involving similar methods and a shared rental service. For investigators, this is a critical puzzle piece. While it could point to coordination, it might also be a tragic coincidence. This is why federal authorities are treating the cases with utmost urgency, aware that every passing moment is vital in tracing possible links. As experts have pointed out, these events highlight the evolving nature of threats facing the nation. From lone actors inspired by extremist ideologies to potential domestic conspiracies, the landscape is becoming increasingly unpredictable. The public's unease is understandable, especially with both suspects reportedly having military backgrounds, raising concerns about how post-service struggles might intersect with radicalization. The Houston home tied to the New Orleans suspect could hold the key to unraveling the mystery. Investigators are preparing for an exhaustive search, aiming to uncover documents, digital evidence, or any physical materials that could provide insights into the suspect's motives and connections. What they find could shift the narrative entirely, either solidifying the theory of coordination or confirming these as isolated incidents. For now, Las Vegas and New Orleans remain under heightened security, with local officials reassuring their communities while federal agencies work to decipher the broader implications. Events scheduled in these cities will proceed with increased vigilance, a testament to the resilience of these communities in the face of fear. But the questions linger, echoing in the hearts of those affected and the nation at large. Are we witnessing a new wave of coordinated attacks, or are these the acts of individuals driven by personal turmoil and extremist propaganda? And most importantly, what lessons can we learn to prevent such tragedies in the future? This story is far from over, and as the investigation continues, the truth will emerge, shining a light on both the darkest corners of these events and the strength of a nation determined to protect its people. The unfolding investigation is a race against time. As federal and local agencies work in tandem, the focus sharpens on uncovering the origins of these attacks. In both cases, the suspects appear to have meticulously planned their actions, leaving behind trails that investigators are now piecing together like fragments of a shattered mirror. Every detail matters, from rental agreements and travel itineraries to communication logs and financial transactions. The role of technology in these events cannot be understated. The use of the Turo app to rent vehicles, first in Colorado and then in Texas, suggests a deliberate attempt to avoid detection. Authorities are now working with the platform to determine how the suspects navigated the system without raising red flags. While neither had prior criminal records, their actions in hindsight reveal the growing challenge of identifying potential threats in an era where anonymity is easily maintained. In Las Vegas, the Cybertruck's payload of explosives hints at a disturbing level of preparation. Investigators are analyzing the explosive materials and detonation mechanism to understand the suspect's level of expertise. Were these materials obtained through legal channels, or do they point to an underground network? The fact that the explosion caused minimal external damage, contained largely within the vehicle itself, suggests either an intentional design or a miscalculation, questions that forensic teams are working tirelessly to answer. Meanwhile, the narrative in New Orleans grows even more chilling. The suspect's videos professing allegiance to ISIS, coupled with his apparent intentions to target both strangers and loved ones, paint a portrait of a deeply troubled individual. However, the flag of ISIS found among his possessions raises the stakes. Was this a case of self-radicalization, or does it point to more direct connections with terrorist operatives? The nuances of this distinction carry profound implications for national security. As officials sift through these clues, the human cost of these attacks weighs heavily. The victims in Las Vegas, though fortunate to have sustained only minor injuries, are grappling with the trauma of a near catastrophe. In New Orleans, the community mourns the loss of lives while wrestling with the unease of knowing how close they came to an even greater tragedy. The fear and uncertainty ripple far beyond these cities, touching everyone who watches this story unfold. The broader context of these incidents also cannot be ignored. The military backgrounds of both suspects raise difficult questions about the transition from service to civilian life. Were there missed warning signs, mental health struggles, behavioral changes, or affiliations with extremist groups? These are uncomfortable yet necessary inquiries for a society that seeks to support its veterans while safeguarding against potential threats. Public officials have urged calm and vigilance, emphasizing that investigations of this magnitude require patience. Yet the demand for answers grows louder. Families of victims, communities shaken by these events, and a nation striving to comprehend the scope of the threat all share a common need: clarity. And as this search for understanding continues, one truth becomes evident. Whether these attacks are the work of lone individuals or part of a broader conspiracy, they underscore the fragility of the systems designed to protect us. The lessons from these tragedies must not only lead to justice but also pave the way for stronger measures to prevent such horrors in the future. In the coming days, every revelation will bring new layers to this story. The nation watches, united in hope and determination, as investigators piece together the puzzle. Answers will come, and with them, the resolve to stand firm against fear and division. Together, the cities of Las Vegas, New Orleans, and the entire nation will find strength in confronting the darkness and reaffirming the values that bind us. As the investigation deepens, the urgency grows, not just for answers, but for reassurance that the systems in place can adapt to an evolving threat landscape. The discoveries at the Houston home tied to the New Orleans suspect may become a critical turning point. What investigators find there could either establish a clear connection between these events or confirm their independence. It's a pivotal moment, and the stakes couldn't be higher. In Las Vegas, the Cybertruck explosion continues to challenge investigators. The suspect's military background, coupled with the sophistication of the explosive device, suggests a calculated plan. But what remains unclear is the motive. Was it personal discontent channeled into violence, or was there a broader political or ideological agenda? The choice of targets, symbols like the Trump Hotel and Tesla's revolutionary technology, raises questions about whether the act was meant to send a deliberate message. The public is left grappling with the uncertainty. In times like these, the absence of clear answers fuels speculation, fear, and frustration. Officials have stressed that they are leaving no stone unturned, using every resource available to uncover the truth. Yet, the process of piecing together these complex cases is painstakingly slow, requiring a level of precision that can't be rushed. For New Orleans, the impact of the attack reverberates far beyond the immediate victims. The suspect's ties to ISIS-inspired rhetoric have reignited debates about the influence of online extremism. How does a seemingly ordinary individual transform into someone capable of such acts? And what role do social platforms play in enabling or amplifying that transformation? These are pressing questions that demand not just answers, but systemic changes to prevent future tragedies. Even as the investigations unfold, life in both cities strives to move forward. Events are continuing under heightened security, a testament to the resilience and determination of their communities. But beneath the surface, there's a shared awareness that this is not just about two attacks, it's about understanding the vulnerabilities that allowed them to happen. Nationally, these events have sparked a broader conversation about preparedness. How do we strike a balance between freedom and security in an age where technology enables both innovation and potential harm? The challenges are immense, but the commitment to addressing them remains steadfast. For the families and communities directly impacted, the wait for answers is excruciating. Their pain and loss are compounded by the unanswered questions that linger. Why did this happen? Could it have been prevented? And what will be done to ensure it doesn't happen again? In this moment of uncertainty, one thing is clear. The path forward requires unity. It demands that law enforcement, policymakers, communities, and individuals come together to address the root causes of such violence. Whether it's tackling radicalization, improving mental health support, or enhancing technological safeguards, the solutions will require a collective effort. The story of Las Vegas and New Orleans is far from over. Each new piece of evidence, each breakthrough in the investigation, brings us closer to understanding the truth. But beyond the facts, it's the resilience of the people, the determination to rebuild and move forward that will define how we emerge from this darkness. Together, we face the challenges ahead, united in the pursuit of safety, justice, and a future where such tragedies become a distant memory. As investigators push forward, the nation remains captivated by the unfolding story, a story not just of tragedy but of resilience and determination. Each revelation brings us closer to understanding the events that shook Las Vegas and New Orleans. Yet, with every answer comes new questions, compelling us to examine deeper issues about our collective safety, the influence of extremism, and the systems meant to protect us. These attacks have left scars, not only on the victims and their families, but also on the psyche of communities trying to process the unthinkable. In moments like these, the strength and unity of the human spirit shine through. Across the country, people are coming together, refusing to let fear dictate their lives and demanding solutions to prevent such acts in the future. For Las Vegas and New Orleans, the road to healing has begun, though it will take time. Events and gatherings now carry an added layer of vigilance, a reminder of the fragile balance between freedom and security. Yet these communities stand strong, determined to honor the lives disrupted by these attacks with resilience and purpose. The investigation continues, and as it does, so too does the need for open dialogue about the underlying causes of such violence. This is about more than just solving these cases. It's about addressing the gaps in our systems, understanding the motivations that drive individuals to such extremes, and finding ways to intervene before tragedy strikes. Let's keep this conversation alive. Let's demand accountability and solutions. And let's stay united in the face of challenges, proving that no act of violence can weaken the resolve of a nation committed to progress. If you find these updates valuable and believe in the power of informed communities, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Together, we can create a space for meaningful discussions and solutions. Your support helps keep this platform thriving and ensures that stories like these are brought to light. Thank you for being part of this journey. Stay tuned for updates, and let's continue to seek the truth together.